When looking at our trailer and whether we developed, challenged, or adhered to convention, we started with the decision of using artistic shots. This would give our product an independent feel and would allow the audience to identify it as such. We also used film festival logos as we felt this was a convention of most independent trailers. This again would allow the audience to register that our film was an independent picture. As our genre was teen drama, we felt we needed a character that people could relate to, and we then introduced said character and built in the conflict around that to intrigue the audience. We've mainly focused on home life and how that affects our character. When introducing our character, we mainly focused on personality traits as well as hobbies, the normal, fashionable teenager in most aspects of her life. To do this, we used close-up shots, which is a huge convention of dramas, to portray the emotion of the character and allow the audience to get a sense of the overall tone of our film. When introducing our character with traits such as smoking, the audience may think this is a potential coping mechanism for our central character. This could be relatable to most teens and young adults. The level of success of using these conventions were that our trailer was undoubtedly recognisable as an indie drama. We built tension and drama with conflict, due to the fact it would intrigue audiences to learn more about the film and want to potentially see it. We potentially could have used more shots of the mum, as she is a main character within the trailer. When looking at how we developed conventions, we found that mental health is a common subject matter for newer dramas such as these. We did find that OCD was not particularly focused on yet, and as well as this, the narrative doesn't solely focus on her condition, but looks at how it is a part of her life and what that means in terms of her family situation, which is at the end of the day the main cause of drama within the film. The fact we didn't use a tripod for the majority of the film could connote that the relationship between the audience and the character is a more personal one, which could potentially be seen as something slightly different for the genre, as generally handhelds are used for genres such as horror or thriller, but can be used effectively as a drama to build up a relationship between the character and the audience. I feel that the conventions we developed were successful. Again, as OCD is not particularly focused on yet in main media products, you could say that it is a generally misunderstood condition, and using this as a main plot point within our film could intrigue and also educate our audience to a certain extent. With challenging conventions, our main focus was the fact that our film would not be set in school, as we did not focus on any school shots whatsoever and steered well clear of this. One could say that this would be successful. It's something different and would link with a slightly more independent vibe to the film and would break away from the possible constraints of the genre. When looking at our poster, we adhered to conventions by using a lone picture of our main character. This showed her as the central focus of our narrative, which can be also seen in these film posters. Another convention that we used was an artistic background. This allowed onlookers to potentially subconsciously build and explore our character, given a main focus of her personality was linked to art. This can be also seen through the mise-en-scène of her outfit, which would be relatable to our target audience. As well as this, we used film festival logos, which again makes the poster look far more independent, as people generally connote film festival with an independent media text. This again ties together the poster and the trailer, making them a promotional package. As our character's facial expression is one of worry, one could argue that it's potentially hinting at the narrative and giving clues to the overall tone to somebody who has been looking at our poster. When looking at how successful this was, I would say that it definitely combines both the trailer and the poster together and is successful in looking independent, which was a main objective for us throughout the process. As well as this, we didn't particularly challenge or develop conventions with our poster, so it left gaps to be filled in by our trailer, meaning that they work well as a pair. When viewing our magazine cover, we used conventions such as using a large masthead. This was mainly for authenticity, as the majority of magazines such as these use a large masthead, as it is the first thing that they want readers to see. Our tagline defines our magazine as one that is devoted to films. As well as this, we used cover lines regarding the content within the magazine, and the overall success of the conventions were that our magazine cover did in fact look like a cover that was based solely around films. When developing conventions, we used a very artsy font, like it was almost hand-drawn. This linked to our image and potentially allowed readers to see that the main focus of our magazine was to see films as a piece of art. The fact that we focused on the main character of Noah instead of the actress playing her definitely developed conventions. This once again allowed readers to see that our magazine was about the actual films and the world they are set in, rather than viewing films at face value. When talking about the level of success within these developments, you could perhaps argue that the font is too large for the title of our film, and this maybe takes away from the masthead, which is perhaps something that isn't realistic. However, the central theme of the magazine, USP, and the magazine definitely conveys this to readers. We didn't challenge too many conventions, however, we did use artwork instead of a photo for our central image. This inspiration was taken from Little White Lies, showing that film and art were seen as the same thing within our magazine fits our creative brief of an independent magazine. This was successful as our magazine was clearly an independent one and sold a USP to readers. However, you could argue that due to the film being independent, readers may not pick up the magazine due to the unknown nature of the character. Overall, our trailer, film poster, and magazine cover respectively developed, challenged, and adhered to conventions across the board. The majority of time this was successful and helped to portray the messages that we wanted to focus on within each text.